Warriors, welcome. This is episode number 371. You're listening to the Anxiety Guy podcast. I'm Dennis Simsek. Thanks for joining me. My friends, a powerful podcast episode coming your way. Before I get into it, I want to remind you that if you're interested in any of my anxiety recovery programs, head over to theanxietyguy.com today and learn more. Begin your healing at theanxietyguy.com. And my friends, there are a couple of painful realities that come with the idea of healing anxiety. And the truth is, my friends, there is no easy way to meet with these realities. Every anxiety sufferer will meet with these realities at some point and will have to admit to themselves that this is really the truth. And when they believe that these realities, these components, are the truth around their anxiety healing, the path forward will be much easier. So I want to get into these 5 realities of anxiety healing today so that I can open up your mind a little bit to the possibilities of seeing beyond what your ego or inner child wants you to think is the real problem. Okay? Reality number 1. This journey that you're on can potentially be a long and arduous journey. Okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Healing from anxiety, this deep level of sensitivity, physiologically, psychologically, spiritually, can potentially be a long and arduous journey because it's meant to be that way. Okay? In my latest book, The Essential Guide to Health Anxiety, I make it very clear that when you're healing, you go through different stages. You go through different chapters. And the interesting thing about this is you can't skip steps, right? At some point, you're going to have to look within and realize that there's something that needs to change. There's a perspective towards what took place in your past that needs to change. There's a mindset that needs to be adopted for your healing journey in the present. Some things need to change. And the understanding of that is not enough. It's not enough to understand something. Okay? You have to live it out in mind, body, and spirit. You know, a lot of us think that theory is enough, content is enough. It's not enough. It's just not enough to listen to a video and to dabble with the idea for a few seconds and think that it's going to make a dent in the subconscious mind that's been storing all your experiences from childhood onwards, and to release yourself of the irrational fear that you feel physiologically. It's not enough. So, this journey that you're on can be a long and arduous one. That doesn't mean that you should be sad about this reality or upset. It's just that you must respect the journey, my friends. When you respect the journey and all the teachings that come with it, then you really are on the right path. Number 2, reality of anxiety healing. It consistently takes brutal honesty to recognize when your inner child wants to lead. So as you're going through the day, it's going to take brutal honesty from your part to recognize that what you're thinking isn't really coming from you. Okay? So when you perceive a threat, let's say that's physically, socially, financially, it doesn't matter. When you perceive a threat, that threat perception is coming from the part of you that loves you unconditionally, and that's called the inner child. Yes, you can call it the ego. Yes, you can call it the shadow. To me, it doesn't matter what you call it as long as you recognize it for what it is. Protection. And based around this protection is the fear of change. The moment you want to have a new perception, that inner child will flex its might and say, no, not today. You're not strong enough. It's not the right time. You don't have the support. You don't have the money. You don't have the momentum. You don't have the books. You don't have this. You don't have that. You're spending too much time at work. You just can't heal. These are all the defense mechanisms coming from the inner child that don't want you to change, because familiarity equals safety. So as you go through the day, it's your job to recognize which perceptions, which physiological changes, which ideas, which old belief systems, what is connected to your inner child, and what is connected to, let's call it, your higher self, the one that you are evolving into, the one that you forgot about after the world told you who you were. Number 3, it's easy to get sucked back into anxiety because the world is very loud. The world is very loud. To heal anxiety, you have to be focused. Okay? And that doesn't mean forever. That just means during the times when you're most confused. You have to be focused. Because if you're not focused, what's going to happen is you're going to fall for that trap. That trap that says, hey, go on TikTok and entertain yourself. That trap that says, hey, you're just not good enough. Go work harder. Okay? And these are all traps. Are you recognizing the traps? The world is very loud. The world will do everything in its power to make it like them, right? To pull you into a place of irrational fear so that you buy a product, so that you get sick, so that someone can benefit from your sickness. This is the world today. Let's not kid ourselves. Okay? Let's not think that everything is rainbows and unicorns. It's not. Wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to have an absolutely stunning and flawless day. You're kidding yourself. You're absolutely kidding yourself. You're lying to yourself. Because the universe is going to put in your path all sorts of tests and challenges from other people, physiologically, through your imagination, you name it. Are you recognizing that they are tests and challenges? That's the thing. A lot of people think anxiety healing is laying on your couch and never experiencing any kind of stress or anxiousness ever again. It's not the case. Healing anxiety is this back and forth game until one side takes over completely. That's called inner peace. And that still doesn't mean the inner child isn't going to try to get your attention. It's still going to try to get your attention. It's still going to try to pull you into anxiety, yes. But you're much more equipped. You're much more equipped going forward. And that's called inner peace. Number 4, you will feel depressed at times. And this must eventually be perceived as a starting point. At some point in this anxiety healing journey, or at multiple times, there will be depression. And when you have depression, that's a sign that you're no longer afraid of the same things you used to be afraid of. And because that's the case, you must see the depression, as best you can, as a starting point, a renewal, the start of an afterlife. I talk to a lot of people and I tell them, I'm going through an afterlife. And they're going, whoa, hold on, you're not dead. I said, yeah, Dennis is gone. There is no Dennis anymore. Because there's no way that Dennis can be here making these podcasts, these videos, these online programs. There's no way the same Dennis from a few years ago could be doing all these things. There's no chance. So when you feel depressed at times, that's a gray area that needs to be filled. And that gray area that needs to be filled means that you are moving in, you are transitioning into a new, brand new identity. And what is an identity? An identity is who I am and what do I believe about myself. Who I am and what do I believe about myself. Not only that, but what am I deserving of? I mean, what a silly question, to be honest. Look at all the limits that we have placed upon ourselves. Limit after limit after limit. But you haven't done this consciously. Like I mentioned, the world is loud. All of the programming that is within that mind, body, and spirit of yours happened at an unconscious level. At an unconscious level. That's why to blame yourself for anxiety would be a silly mistake. Because you weren't the one that created anxiety. Number 5, and probably the most important one, no one can save you but you. Honestly, starting today, you have to give up the victim card. You are no longer a victim. There is no victim in warrior. And when we say warrior, we're not talking about fighting demons. Okay, we're talking about making peace with those demons, guiding those demons. And so, no one is coming to save you. And the other thing is often we look for the right support all the time. It's got to come from the outside. It's got to come from somebody else. No, as long as you keep thinking in those ways, you will be stuck. So if the world is loud, find silence. If the world wants to program you, program yourself. If the world wants you to run, you crawl. And there's nothing wrong with believing the opposite of what society tells you you need to do or you need to be. This is on you. You have everything within you to heal this and to take one more baby step forward, because that's what it's about. It's not about giant leaps. It's about baby steps. So which baby step do you need to take right now in order to move in the right direction, to find yourself once again? Head over to theanxietyguy.com, start one of the programs, begin your journey towards healing. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you soon. And if you're enjoying this podcast, share it with someone or a group in need. You are more than anxiety. Don't ever forget it. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
The most powerful anxiety guidebooks on true anxiety recovery are now available on Amazon. Pick up Beyond Anxiety and F Coping, Start Healing, and supercharge your healing journey today. Also visit www.theanxietyguy.com to connect with Dennis and find the right online program for you. Remember, you are more than anxiety. See you in the next podcast episode.